As of February 21st, 2022, the press quietly announced that the Biden administration has renewed the national emergency. For 2 years now, since March 13th of 2020, fraud, racketeering, abuse of power, unlawful mandates, violation of antitrust law, issuance of toxic gene editing technology masquerading as vaccines, the handing over of unlimited power to unelected committee members and small government to commit acts of abuse on everyone, from constituents to school children, and even committing out in the open medical experiments on humans, have all been wrapped up in a marketing campaign and been allowed to infiltrate and corrupt regulatory agencies, buy off corrupt officials, and purchase the silence of everyone from your local doctor, your school board members, your municipal bodies of government, your school districts, your nonprofits, your third sector, your third spaces, your employer, and in some cases, even you. The worst versions of ourselves have allowed those most innocent to be mutilated and stunted by this horrendous act of out-of-control fraud. It levels our instincts, drains our energy, blinds us to the naked abuse of power, and only a handful of people are standing in the way of the guns that are aimed directly at our kids and their future. Holding children in contempt continues as the ESSER funding, the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund, is committing open acts of bribery to school districts, handing them exorbitant funds in order to establish the caliphate-style dictatorship that has now reimagined the school experience. As the flood of funding drowns out the voices of concerned parents and taxpayers, the school boards ignore students and parents, turn a blind, indifferent eye to their valid complaints and concerns, and have one job only: to ensure the school districts complete their proper paperwork in order to be eligible for more funding. This sick style of emergency declarations and the grotesque amount of blood money that comes with it continues in that classic style of abuse and power, holding innocent people hostage to their strangulating will. Committees that act in secret and operate outside of citizen engagement or votes are causing untold damage to child development, so much so that children are now developing at a slower rate than ever in the history of humanity. Yes, LEAs, or your local education agencies, must adopt a plan as to how this blood money will be used and funded. This plan includes the following: universal and correct wearing of masks, modifying facilities to allow for physical distancing, hand washing and respiratory etiquette, cleaning and maintaining healthy facilities, including improving ventilation, contact tracing in combination with isolation and quarantine, diagnostic and screening testing, efforts to provide vaccinations to school communities, summer learning, extended school days, comprehensive after-school programs, evidence-based high-dosage tutoring, full-service community schools, mental health services and support, 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 adoption or integration of social emotional learning into the core curriculum and the school day, other evidence-based interventions, wraparound services, which could be provided in collaboration with and/or through contracts with community-based organizations, and could include academic support, trauma-informed care, social emotional support, and mental health services and support. Purchase needed supplies such as personal protective equipment, like masks or PPE, eyeglasses, school supplies, personal care items. Extend school years. Provide transportation to enable children and youth to attend classes and participate fully in school activities. Purchase cell phones or other technological devices for unaccompanied youth to enable the youth to attend and fully participate in school activities. Provide access to reliable, high-speed internet for students through the purchase of internet-connected devices and equipment, mobile hotspots, wireless service plans, or installation of community Wi-Fi hotspots, especially in underserved communities. Paying for short-term temporary housing, such as a few days at a hotel, when such emergency housing is the only reasonable option for COVID-safe temporary housing. Provide store cards and prepaid debit cards to purchase materials necessary for students to participate in school activities. Each and every one of these services has nothing whatsoever to do with teaching children basic skills and encouraging cognitive development or critical thinking, as schools should be doing. This is entrapment of the child and family into relying on the school for everything, from cell phones to housing to even misdiagnosing a child as mentally ill. This is how you lose your children to the system. Your child will never be removed from your home. That won't be needed. What will happen is, as long as the emergency declaration remains in place, your child will be absorbed into a system that will strangle all his potential, stunt his growth, remove his capacity to imagine, and turn him into nothing more than a checked box on a report, so school districts can qualify for more funding. This isn't fun. This is not growth, and this certainly isn't childhood. This is a slave trade. And as long as school districts and municipalities continue to take the ESSER funding or any federal funding under this emergency declaration, then this slave trade will grow into a beast that swallows all of us.